Hello, I'm Roman. Welcome back. And the topic that I want to talk today is actually to think out loud and discuss with you what could be the reasons of people kind of failing to learn coding. I mean, you can call it coding, you can call it software engineering, but I will talk about the same thing is to build something or actually to solve something with the code, like any problem that you can code, any problem that you can solve with the coding. Because I'm seeing people coming in the industry or trying to learn coding as the side skill, and they have some problems with this one. So it's more like a combination of the problems. The list is not final, definitely, and I want to talk about 5 specific topics that I think are I saw them the most during my career. So let's go. The first one is, and I would not get tired of talking about this, but it's actually going into software engineering or like into the tech industry just for the money. I'm not saying that the money is something bad. Quite the opposite. You need money to support your family. You need money to travel, buy some goods, reach your goals, and so on, so on. So we all need, and I believe that everyone should be paid for their work. I believe that you need an interest in what you do, and it's not specific to the tech industry only. I'm a strong believer of that you need to like at certain point what you do and the way you earn your money. I might say that it depends between industries. So probably in some areas it's not that important, or maybe the level of importance is not like the highest, is the same as in the tech industry. But I've been thinking that given the fact that how the tech industry evolves, how fast it is, how many things you need to, dive deeper, understand, learn the foundation, and more things. And I'm trying to understand how I would do this without having an actual interest in this. Because it's actually, it's not sometimes an easy industry. And if you don't even like it and you came here just because of the money, I think that, well, first you will lose a lot of the time, because eventually after a couple of years you probably will get burnout, or you will decide that it's not something for you, or the tech industry is dead or something like this, and you will quit it. Or it will be very, very hard for you to actually progress, and the final, the received money most likely won't worse, this, suffering, or like the fact that you don't like it at all. In the recent hype, the software engineering were kind of overhyped because, for example, I studied the computer science when being a programmer or the coder wasn't something fancy that it became after. When I studied the computer science, being a programmer were considered as something geeky, not cool, for the guys who, just don't take the shower, or, we had a lot of these stereotypes back then, and suddenly it became so attractive. Try not to follow just the money. Again, I'm not saying this is something bad, but try to follow the thing that you like. I hope the more people will realize that if they like it, the software engineering, like the tech industry, they will stay. And I think we still have a lot of things to do in the tech industry. I don't believe in this AI hysteria that it will take over all the software engineering jobs. I think it will actually open more doors, and it's just the next step. But if you like something else, just do whatever you like, because in every career you can earn a decent amount of money. You can see examples all over, and it's not like only the software engineering that can give you, well, it's actually was a very short time when it can give you this easy money, and it's not the case anymore. So if you like it, stay. We have a lot of things to do. If you don't like it, I think it's the right time to reconsider your career and find what you actually like to do. And most likely you'll find it. You will spend some time progressing through career, and you'll end up having the same amount of the salaries that most likely you will have as a senior software engineer in average company. Second one is that I actually heard it in a different video. I never thought about like this before, but that's actually a very good remark. In the tech industry, like in the software engineering and coding, making mistakes is a good thing in general. I'm not talking about making a mistake that will crash the plane, but in general, breaking your code, see how it breaks, kind of what happens. And while you do mistakes, you learn something, you're trying to overcome this. Of course, if you are going just on the Stack Overflow or right now asking the ChatGPT to solve your issue, then it's not the case for you. You will just copy paste the answer and you never learn from it. But in general, making mistakes is the way to explore more and learn new things. And the thing that's kind of struck me, okay, so the thing that I enjoyed from that video is comparing to the school or the university, where making a mistake is something bad. You were like, if you did a mistake, you always got punished, like with lower mark. During that time, it's actually very easy to get a habit of fear of making a mistake. And this is what you need to change here, because if you want to learn coding, you need to do like lots of the mistakes, and you will do lots of the mistakes. I made lots of the mistakes during my career, and I will do probably even more. And I've been a backend engineer, I switched to the mobile, I did lots of the different things in the different areas. And for example, at one of the first backend jobs at FinTech, on the second day, I deleted one of the databases, like one of the internal databases. Luckily, there were people who were much smarter than me, and we had a backup, so we kind of restored it quite quickly. But that's just one of the mistakes that I made during the career. You do a mistake, you learn something from it, and you go further. If you do the same mistake over and over, that's a big question of why you're doing something like this. But in general, don't afraid to do mistakes. Do this, explore new stuff, break things legally, and it will help you and it will boost your learning a lot. The next one is actually connected with the previous one, and it's in the tech industry, and basically in every career, I would say you need a patience to move forward, but in the tech industry, I think it's one of the very important parts, because it just takes time to move forward. Sometimes you wouldn't understand some concept or a programming language or design pattern or whatever from the first try. Probably you will have to reiterate it over and over, not even during the days, but during the weeks or the months. And it just takes time to build this foundation and the knowledge about the coding. And it's not only like some people think that the coding is just if you know the programming language, that you know the coding. It's much more, and the programming language is just a tool. You need to know your tool, but it's far more than this. It's a programming language, it's the foundational knowledge, which we'll talk about soon. It's the way you approach the tasks, it's the way you debug the problems. There are a lot of the things around it, and it just takes time to build and understand how it's going to work. And some people don't have this patience. I've seen people, especially when this hype around the bootcamps. So the people came, they kind of spent 3-4 months in the bootcamp, quickly learning some, usually it was the web development. I don't have any problems with the web development in general, but usually it was the web development because it was very easy to dive in and just to start making something. I think it's the most accessible area in the tech industry that you can start from. So there are a lot of the people that start from this. They learned how to do kind of template-based things, like most of them were copy-paste. And if somebody progressed further and kind of had the patience to learn new things and move forward, they became a very good engineers. But some people decided to stay at that level and that's it, and they never progressed. Or they wanted actually to, to get, this is, I've seen a lot. I've seen that a lot in the mobile development, actually, when the people, they had, 1-2 years of the experience. I don't have problems with the 2 years in general, apart one thing, it's not enough time to live with the consequences of your decision, of your architectural and the technology decisions. That's one of the things of being a senior engineer. You know where to pick up the specific technology, or you can estimate the consequences of the specific technology choices or architectural choices. And this is why 1 or 2 years usually not enough to see how the project will evolve during the time. The next one is jumping over the foundational knowledge, and I actually have a video about this on the channel. I will link it here and I will link it down below. Some people think that you don't have to know the foundational or the deep knowledge to do the software engineering, to do the coding, because most of the time what you do is just converting JSON into the HTML back and forth. I highly disagree with this statement, and again, you can watch the video so you will see more. More and more low entry tasks could be automated more. So this is in general why the tech industry kind of affected all of the areas, because it can automate repetitive tasks in many areas. And we can see the same in the coding itself. And if most of the work consisted of kind of same typed tasks that are not that different from each other, then, and this is all nothing else, then most likely you will be affected. But if you have, deeper knowledge, you understand how the system works, you understand the system design, how the computer operates, etc., etc. So there are lots of the levels of the complexity in the software engineering. So don't ignore this. Don't ignore the foundational stuff. I'm not advising you to go to the university and apply for the computer science degree. Most of the needed information and the relevant information from the kind of computer science related courses you can get for free online, on the YouTube, on some courses like Coursera, Udemy. There are tons of the ways to get this information for free. The only thing you need to do is to actually learn it. That will, again, with that knowledge, the crucial part of it is that most of it you actually can reuse across different software engineering areas, across most of the programming languages, because a lot of the concepts are the same. Programming languages are just a tool, frameworks are just a tool, and a lot of them operates with the same concepts. And when you know these concepts, you can easily shift from one area to another. So don't ignore this. And another one is the imposter syndrome. With imposter syndrome, it's actually interesting in the software engineering, because I think the more you know, the more you have this feeling inside that you know nothing. And sometimes it can actually kind of hurt you or maybe stop you from going further, because this feeling, at least for me, this feeling never left me, always with me, because the more I know, the more I progress, the more concepts I know, the more things the tech industry produces. Plus, it could be very hard to admit that you are not the best person in the room. For example, this is what I'm doing with this channel and the live coding channel that I have. On the live coding channel, I'm posting how I learn new things, and it is actually, sometimes it's not easy to show somebody that you don't know something that somebody else knows for several years. Because right now, for example, I'm diving into building the neural networks from scratch. Specifically right now, I'm working with the convolutional neural network, and I'm building really from the scratch. Some people know how it works just from the university. I never had the machine learning course in the university, so I'm diving into this right now and showcasing it to especially public, it could be frightening, to be honest. But if you hear that somebody tells you that you're not smart enough to do this, you cannot learn specific part of the tech industry, or something stupid like this, just tell them go to hell.
There's nothing to be scared of. All it takes is a little self-confidence. If you put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything.
I'm thinking that if at some point you think that you know everything, you're the smartest guy in the room, probably you stopped in learning some time ago. Because there is always something that you don't know. And just to sum up what we kind of discussed in this video, do stuff, experiment, don't be afraid to fail, don't ignore the foundational knowledge. Be patient with your study, and in the end you will be better than most of the software engineers you can see during your career. Just remember that as in any career, it takes time to develop many things. If you have something to say about this, I will be glad to hear your thoughts on this, so you know what to do. There is a comments section below, you can leave it and we can discuss it. And don't forget to check the Discord server, you can join, we can talk. But for now, thank you for watching, and I see you in the next video. Bye bye.